And we are live and in living color. Hello, everyone. Hello, RG Rappaport. You like the stream? That's good. Everyone should do the same. Hello, Leo, or Lior, as Armin likes to say. Hello, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name's Guy. I'm a geopolitical analyst. I talk about Middle Eastern politics, Israeli politics, and in general, geopolitics, and I do it from an Israeli perspective. So I hope you enjoy the show. I stream on two channels. I stream on Liberty Politics. I'm the Liberty Politics's uh, regional expert for the Middle East, specifically Israel, and I also stream on my own channel, which you can find in the description. Also, in the comments, I just posted in the comment. So this is my channel. We're trying to get me to 1,000 subscribers so I can also get super chats on my own channel. And if you have any questions during the stream, feel free to put them in the chat. Most likely I'll see them. If you want to make sure I absolutely definitely see them, you can send them as super chats, and then there's no way I would miss them. Okay, so we've had a stream yesterday, and we talked about a bunch of stuff like the new Mecca agreement between Saudi Arabia and Turkey and Pakistan, and we might get more into it later today, but for now, I'm not too worried about it. It has potential for escalation, but as things stand, it's fine. We need to adjust to it, but it's fine. So what kind of adjustments would make it not fine? For example, the Hakan Fidan, who is the in all but name the successor to Erdogan, he is the Turkish foreign minister, and he said that he would really like Egypt to join the new accords. If that happens, then that's a different ballgame because now they have something on our border. Same with Syria. I see Syria as a more likely candidate to join. And he's saying there are some technical issues that need to be settled. After they're settled, there's no reason that Egypt will not also be part of the alliance. So that is also something to keep in mind. But until that happens, because so far Egypt has refused to join, probably because it's highly dependent on US, on the US fund. It gets a lot of money from the US to basically keep the country running and not have it collapse into a cluster F. Hello, Leora. You did not miss anything. Hello. I don't know how to pronounce this name, but thank you. God bless Iran, Israel, and the free world. Thank you. Okay. So that's what we have so far is a real brief summary about the Mecca agreement. But we have other geopolitical news. Israel's position among young people is a problem that needs to be solved. But meanwhile, it's actually surprising how strong Israel's geopolitical standing is becoming. So we have an alliance with Egypt. Serbia just announced that it will co-develop with Israel drones on Serbian soil, and this is already going to start with in September. Around the president of Serbia is saying that between the 15th and 20th of September of this year already, they're going to start the co-development. Okay. So Bobo came in with the first super chat. Bobo is always reliable with the super chats. Hey, Bobo. This, I can talk a lot about this. I can go really long about Yoam Khazani, NatCon, supports Vance. Yes, this has been true for a while. I actually know Yoam Khazani. I've been in programs, in conservative programs that are based on a lot of what he says. I'm gonna keep you started. I'm gonna talk about this in a bit because this is a big, like, I have a lot to say about this. He does support Vance. A lot of us think that he is blinded, but by his prior knowledge of Vance, I don't know if Vance is like, okay, so they're both from the new right. So the right wing that is no, okay. So I'll talk about this later in the stream, but stay tuned. Also, there's a NatCon. I think there's a NatCon convention in Jerusalem later this year, or has it already happened? No, it's October 6th to 8th. NatCon is National Conservative Conference, and he's like the leading thinker. Yom Chazoni is an Israeli, and he is a leading thinker in conservative, among conservative philosophers and political scientists and philosophers. He's like a very leading figure, and Vance is part of that movement explicitly, and so he's a bit biased. We'll talk about it more later. Okay. Hello. Good morning, Koala. Hello, Daydreamer. Hope Bibi's still the front runner in the election. So we're going to talk about that as well today. Okay. Hello, Philip. All right. So, so that's Serbia. Meanwhile, Colombia has recognized Israel's rights over the Golan Heights, to the dismay of many Arab countries. I haven't seen the UAE. Conspicuous by its absence in condemning the decision was UAE, but I also could have missed it. But I looked for UAE and I couldn't find it. Like I saw the list of countries: Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, and so on, the usual suspects. But I couldn't see UAE there anywhere. Colombia is only the second country to recognize Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights after the U.S. under Trump. Just real quickly, let's see if I can find a map so that you can understand what's the Golan Heights. That's useful to have. Okay, good. This will be sufficient. I'll keep this in the staples so I can always come back to it. All right. Let's see. All right, here we go. So these are the Golan Heights. In 1967, Israel was attacked essentially by all fronts: Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Egypt, and had a 6-day war in which it took over the West Bank, like the remainder of the West Bank that wasn't under Israeli control, was under Jordanian control. Funnily enough, it wasn't called Palestine at the time, and no one was thinking of giving it its own sovereignty as a nation. It took the Sinai Desert, the Sinai Peninsula, to the south of the country, and it took the Golan Heights from Syria. The Golan Heights also include a tall mountain called Hermon. And so there are strategic reasons to take control over the Golan Heights. And so right now Israel controls the Golan Heights along with a Druze population that lives there. This area has been under dispute because Syria has never given up this area. They just weren't able to take it back. The Druze there, historically, have had a mixed view of whether they consider themselves Israeli. One of the reasons, though, is because they were afraid of considering themselves Israeli, and then if this was like given back to Syria under some peace accord, then then they identified as Israeli, and they'll probably be slaughtered. And the more time passes, the more comfortable they are with considering themselves Israeli, especially under the current Syrian regime that has slaughtered the Druze in Sueda. And obviously, as expected, the media silence was deafening, because no Jews, no news. So that's the Golan Heights, and so far only the U.S. and now Colombia have recognized Israel's sovereignty over it. Colombia is also going to put an embassy in Jerusalem, and Venezuela has now officially restarted, even before the election, before they get a pro-Western government, and the leading candidate is highly pro-Israel. But even before that, now Venezuela has officially brought back relations with Israel. Okay. Yes. So Venezuela just realigned with Israel. Oh, sorry. Lebanon didn't participate. Yeah, I wasn't sure about Lebanon. It was also okay. No, we won't get into it too much. But yeah, it was Syria, Jordan, Egypt, and we got a chunk of the land that each attacked from. Okay. Let's see what else we have in the chat. Stop Maju from another point of view. Hello, Gargamel. I'm not sure we have a different point of view, considering you said you're thinking of Erdogan's new party, or maybe Lieberman, because that's basically where I'm at. I'm going to vote for. So okay, so we're going to talk about that. Actually, let's talk about it now. So that was the foreign relations. Okay, one more thing about the foreign relations. Syria has also now reached an agreement with Russia about the Russian bases in Syria that were there under Assad's regime, and essentially they will the Russians will maintain presence in certain parts of Syria, but a lot of the bases will be converted for civilian use under Syria. A lot of the Russian bases will be converted under Syria. So it was in limbo what was going to happen in like with the Russian forces there, and now it seems to be settled, at least somewhat. Okay, so we said that the election just flipped on its head. That's the promise of the stream. I'm gonna explain why. Let me bring up. So if you've been a long-time viewer of my streams, you will know that this is not okay. I'll just share a window as opposed to a tab. It's gonna make it easier. Okay. So this, I took a poll from July. Not enough. Not enough has changed in the polls to warrant making this again. The numbers are around the same, give or take a couple seats in either direction. And so, okay, so yeah, so now Freedom to Gargamel is saying, I'm thinking about Erdogan's new party, maybe Lieberman. And I said that, so this is 120, but there are things that are not present in this slide, namely the Unity Party. And this was before two such, you had one at the time, but someone who's highly unpopular, using the unity ticket, now we have three parties. We have you have the left-leaning unity party that is, it's for unity if neither side has the necessary number of seats, but if the left-wing side, or I mean it's a blended side, it has both right and left-wing parties, but if that side gets the along with the unity party, let's say they get 4 seats, and the other side, so in Israeli parliament you have 120 seats, and you need 61 to form a coalition. And so let's say the blue side that you can see here, that's like the left-leaning side, quote unquote. It's not really like, this is the only actual left-wing party in it. This is center-left, and these two are right-wing. If they manage to get, along with this left-leaning unity party, they manage to get 61, then they're going to form a government that way. But if they don't, then they're going to force a unity government. But they are willing to have a one-sided government, like what's called a narrow government. That's not like the two largest parties plus extra parties. The center party was like, no way. Whatever it takes, we're gonna force a unity government. That's like our ticket. That's our promise to our voter base. And now the right-wing unity party essentially is promising the same thing. It's called Achdut, literally meaning unity. And it has former people from Likud. And generally, like, it's explicitly a right-wing party that's calling for unity. That's the ticket. And before they ran, the left-wing party, which was the only real viable party, got like between 4 and 5 seats in the polls. But it very consistently passed the threshold. Now that these guys are running, a lot of the people who voted for them out of, like, by default, because they were the only real party, because again the other one that was already existed is just not popular at all, like the person in charge of it. So they got some people by default, but now now because we have another party joining the mix, the right-wing party, that all things considered, ideally, like, that's the one I would vote for. But I'm not going to have to make that choice, because now they're all underwater. Now no one gets to the 4-seat threshold. And as a result, what's going to happen, there might be one other unity party starting up. I lean towards no. So there's 2 actors that still need to get aligned. One is Ayelet Shaked, a former partner of Naftali Bennett's, and the other is Sharon Eskel. But Sharon Eskel has apparently lied under oath and has really tanked her odds. She did a really dumb thing, and so I don't know. She might be like a liability at this point. Okay, so so what's going to happen now is they're all underwater. If all 3 are running, there's no way any of them passed through the threshold, and they all know it. So now they're trying to see who's going to lead in the polls, like who's going to be the closest, to see who's justified to be the leader once they do unify into one party. But when they unify, I predict between 8 seats would be like my conservative estimate. And once that happens, the election is essentially settled, with the main question being who's going to be the prime minister. So it's probably going to be between these two. Although, if you remember, I said that Naftali Bennett, I predicted his downfall because his campaign is incoherent. He's actually now starting to do a lot of things right. He essentially siphoned Lapid, put him to the side. Lapid was a left wing party or a center left wing party, and now they joined forces. And apparently, Lapid sort of conned him into it, saying that um, he's close to closing a deal with Eisenkot, and that wasn't true. Okay, let me. So Naftali Bennett is rising, but at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I think it's going to be between Eisenkot and Netanyahu, and either I'm not sure if it's whoever is bigger or whoever has more supporters. If it's whoever has more supporters, then it's neck and neck. If it's whoever's bigger, that's also neck and neck. Just from a different perspective. But either way, the next government is probably going to be this unity party plus these 4 blue parties and Likud. And maybe Smotrich, but I doubt it. And it's a bit misleading because it looks like, well, this would be a majority left wing government, because look, these are all the anti-Netanyahu bloc. But it's important to remember that both Bennett and Lieberman are very much right wingers in their positions with regards to security and so on. They will not go for a Palestinian state and a bunch of stuff like that. They did form a government with Mansour Abbas, who's the head of the Ram party, which is essentially the Muslim Brotherhood in Israel. But it was Netanyahu would have also formed a government with Abbas. Abbas was really positioning himself as a pro-peace figure that is trying to distance himself from the Muslim Brotherhood past. Nowadays, people are more suspicious of him, but at the time, it wasn't that obvious. The people on the right, Smotrich, for example, Smotrich was the only one who said no way. The reason there wasn't a right wing government with Mansour Abbas is because Smotrich said no way, I'm not putting him in the government. Even Ben Gvir apparently was for it. Okay, let's look. Let's look through the comments because I spoke for a while now. Okay. Okay, there's a lot here. 1 second. Yeah, okay, so as saying Lebanon was Christian in 1967. Yeah, I didn't want to get into it. I mean, not all of Lebanon was Christian, but the Christians had more power than they do now. Okay. Okay, a lot of good questions. I'm going to get through them in a second. Excuse me. That's the problem with doing these alone. Can't have someone else talk to you while I go through the comments, because I just spoke for a while and there's a lot of new comments. Okay. Okay, so I have some good questions. I'm collecting them, then I'm going to answer them. Guys, don't fight. There was a misunderstanding I see in the chat. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Okay. So I have everything that I need. So Leo is asking at a high level, what are the key main differences between Bibi and Naftali's platforms? Where do they differ? If you like explicitly, not a lot. They say a lot of the same things. The okay, so I'll show the polls so you can again. This is Bennett. This is Netanyahu. Bennett was always to the right of Netanyahu when he was in Netanyahu's bloc, and then he moved to be between the blocks, and then he became prime minister with 6 seats. And after saying he wouldn't put Abbas in his government, ended up putting Abbas in his government. Now, the actual position differences, he's less likely to capitulate to the ultra orthodox than Netanyahu because Netanyahu needs them for his government. He is a right wing liberal, more so. I mean, Netanyahu is also, but Netanyahu's party has slowly drifted into being less that. The next topic we're going to talk about is Netanyahu trying to bring that back into the party, making it more explicitly liberal and less controlled by unions and so on. Bennett is against Palestinian statehood. He might go for some autonomy that's very very reduced, the kind that the Palestinians would not go for in just in area A, for example, and then annexing area C. But like they're right wingers. They are right wing. Naftali Bennett is not going to form a Palestinian statehood. Okay, Rover and GTA, I will time you both out if you keep going. I saw your comments. I'm not going to ban anyone right now. It's not my position to ban people on Armin's channel. But Rover, we're not for balkanizing Iran at all. Absolutely not. You do strike me as a troll, so I tend to side with GTA. I'm not going to ban you, but if you two continue flaming each other and spamming the chat by talking about each other, I'm going to time out the one that I feel is more doing that. So just I saw the comments. Stop talking to each other or about each other. Okay. So we'll get to the Iran topics in a bit. So right now I'm talking about the Israeli elections. So there aren't really key policy differences between Bennett and Netanyahu. Bennett is arguably less beholden to the ultra orthodox, but is also trying to court centrist and left leaning people. So I think he's hiding a lot of his positions. So for example, he's for a court mandated or court appointed rather committee to investigate October 7th. The problem with that is that a lot of people saying the courts are part of the problem, and so and they're a highly partisan feature within Israeli society, and so they're not going to to do a good job. It's not going to be good if they do it. Whereas Netanyahu is saying we need to form a bipartisan, in the sense of like all the people in the Knesset appoint the people that are in charge of the committee, and then those people investigate everything. And also in terms of judicial reform, he has spoken a lot for judicial reform before he switched sides. And since then, he's been skirting a line, not saying exactly quite what he wants. He's saying it's solvable, and you can have a solution. There are easy solutions that both sides would agree on. And the issue is, I think he's right. Like, I've been saying this ever since this started. I don't understand what the fighting is about. It's just about not trusting the other side. There are solutions that give both sides what they want, but then each side says, well, the other side wants something different than what they're claiming. And there's actually, so just objectively, from the way I see it, the right wing, the people who tried to do the judicial reform in Israel, were willing to capitulate and compromise way more than the other side. The other side just wanted to make the government fall. Okay. So GTA is asking. No, okay. No, I'm not going to get into it yet. We don't know. We know that Israel. Okay, I'll very quickly talk about it, and this is the only thing I'll say about the topic. We don't know whose idea the Kurds were. Even if they were Israel's idea, which again we don't know if it was the CIA or Mossad. But even if it was, the point was not to break apart Iran. Absolutely, that was absolutely not the plan. It's possible the Mossad didn't know about the animosity between the Kurds that are allied with Israel and with Israel and the USA in other areas in trying to create a Kurdistan. It's possible that they weren't aware enough of the animosity they have towards Iranians in general, and if so, that was a big screw up by Mossad, and could have been the reason that a couple of the people have been removed from their positions as a result. We don't know whose plan it was, but regardless, the plan was only to liberate Iran, not break it apart. Okay, for the 6-Day War, didn't the USA also help Israel? No. USA started backing Israel as a result of Israel's astounding victory in the 6-Day War. It was such a victory that they don't even teach it in military academies, at least in certain Eastern ones. I don't remember if it was China or I recently read this. And in the Far East, in military academies, they don't even talk about it because it's just like, what do we learn from this? This doesn't make sense. Essentially, there's no like military tactic that we can explain why it would lead to this result. The evangelicals came strongly on Israel's side as a result of the 6-Day War victory. So the U.S. support of Israel came only 20 years after Israel came into existence. Partially because before that Israel was also left-leaning, like socialist-leaning, so it was teetering between the blocks, between the USSR and the West. Yeah, so I'm probably going to vote for Erdogan's new party, but as part of this thing that's going to form. If I have to vote for a party, I'll probably vote for it. But if it doesn't get to have a chance to go beyond the threshold, then I'm not sure what I'm going to vote. Like at that point, I'll have a lot of thinking to do. Okay, so Daydreamer. So for the record, this is a person. They have a picture of Netanyahu. Young Netanyahu, I think. I'm pretty sure it's either Benjamin Netanyahu or his brother Jonathan. But I'm pretty sure this is a picture of young Netanyahu as the profile picture. That is also an important contextual thing to keep in mind. What about Lieberman's land swaps? How is that good for Israel? So you're talking about a plan. So Lieberman wanted to, his idea of Palestinian statehood was to give a lot of Israel's existing Arab minority to the Palestinian state and doing land swaps with areas that are majority Jewish. And that was a decade ago, a decade and a half ago. No, a decade ago. A lot has changed since then. This is not something that you will see him bring up because I don't think that's something he still thinks. Lieberman is very hawkish. People who are afraid that the next government is going to create a Palestinian state, again, daydreamer. I don't see that as a reasonable fear. There are too many people. There is no strong left wing in Israel. You have, at most, you have this as the true left, and then you have this as a left masquerading as center, like arguably. Although you also have some people there who are explicitly right wing or center right, at least, like Matan Kahana, and a coalition that is led by Eisenkot with the blue parties. Even if you add Mansour Abbas, which is it's not actually going to happen. Lieberman is not going to allow it because that'll be the end of him. Is still not going to do anything about Palestinian statehood. And most, they'll scale back some of what has been done in this government, which, if you care about that stuff, like it's important, but it's not, you're not going to get Palestinian statehood in anywhere in the near future. Okay. So Gene, I think, again, I'm sorry, JM, I'll just say JM. It's a big, so talking about the Mecca agreement, it's a big nothing burger shit country. Even if 100 reunite for alliance, it's still only 100 shit countries. I mean, so far the issue is that if you get coordination among the Arab countries in a way that is meant to fight against Israel, that's going to be a challenge. Okay, RG Rappaport is asking, what does this mean? Recognize sovereignty, again, talking about Colombia, over the Golan Heights. Does it have any real and or legal meaning? Could this be the same as recognizing Palestinian state? It's the same as recognizing Palestinian statehood. It's declaratory. It's only relevant if a lot of countries join then. But right now, it doesn't. It just means that Colombia recognizes this. It's a symbol of how committed the new Colombian president is to the country's relationship with Israel. That's the important part of it. It shows just how pro-Israel he is. Okay. So, okay, we talked about this. Israel, I don't think Israel is scared of the separatist groups. Israel is pro-Kurd in general, not the communist Kurds, but just Kurds that want their own country. Israel is slightly leaning like to their side. I think they have had some cooperations, especially with regards to Turkey. Like the anti-Turkish Kurds, since Erdogan has become cuckoo about Israel. I think, I'm not sure. I think Israel has some connections with some Kurds. I don't know if it's the separatist Kurds. I actually doubt it's the separatist Kurds. But there are some relations with the Kurds, and maybe they thought, that they didn't recognize the difference or something, and that's why they were for the plan. Okay, I'll get to this in a bit. Gadi would sit with the Islamic Brotherhood. That's not true. That's taken out of context. He said he said he is not ruling out any party that accepts his framework, which is Israel as a Jewish democratic state, enlistment for all, and I keep forgetting the third one. But like something that has broad acceptance. I think it was investigating October 7th. Then he's not going to rule out anybody, but he also said at the same breath, I have not seen any Arab party come close to doing that. So far the answer is no. Okay, what's their view on Judea and Samaria and Gaza? They were to the right of Netanyahu. This comment came when we were talking about Erdogan and the new Unity Party, the new right-wing Unity Party. They have always opposed disengagement from Gaza. They're very pro Judea and Samaria. They're very right-wing. They're sick of the ultra orthodox holding the government by the balls. That's essentially, and so they want a government with like the center and the center left and the non-religious right that is anti-Netanyahu. They want to force a unity government there because then you'll be able to govern much better and also deal with the issues, the demographic issues of the ultra-Orthodox growing in number exponentially while not contributing to society and not, again, as a generalization. Like the current situation is not sustainable, and it has to be solved, and it can be solved when these parties hold the government by the balls. Okay. Yeah, so Freedom to Gargamel is agreeing with me. You guys don't understand the social cost here. The ultra-religious, the ultra-orthodox is, he means, parties are outdated and causing problems. Yes? Okay. And quickly, Bobo had another 2 super chats. Thank you for the super chats, Bobo. Judges said prosecutors have nothing on Bibi. Yes. So this Netanyahu's trial, 3 years ago, the judges said, listen, after the prosecution rested its case, the judges said, listen, you should give up on the bribery charge, which is the main charge. There's no case here. And then the prosecution said, no, we're going to prove it during the defense's case, which is ludicrous. The defense's case is meant to bolster the defense. So it's not. They just wanted to waste time, or hoped that to get a plea deal at some point in the middle. I think they knew their case has collapsed. They never expected it to get this far. And now the defense is rested, while Netanyahu had to be in court for several days a week while managing a war. And the judges said again, yeah, there's no bribery case here. So the prosecution has a lot to answer to. There are really deep problems within the Israeli court system that need to be resolved. Even putting aside anything about the judicial reform in terms of the balance of powers, there needs to be a cleaning of the house. And but was also saying, please live stream the Israeli election again. So thank you again for the super chat. This is something I'm very likely going to do. I highly doubt I won't do it. Okay, so okay, there's a lot of comments again. If you want me to see the comments, if you want to make sure that I see the comments, then send super chats. It's just that I'm sorry. There's just a lot to get into. Like there's one of me and many of you. Yeah. So Gargamel. So you said my Jew from another point of view. I really and increasingly don't think we have different points of view. I completely agree with this. In Israel, you need to watch at least 3 channels at once. Propaganda is terrible today before election. It sucks. It's terrible always. The channels, it just the bias becomes much more palpable during the election, but it's always there. Okay, so Rover is asking, Guy, in the U.S., the polls bias down conservatives by about 5 points. Is this the same in Israel? Yes. I mean, yeah, it is. I can go longer, but it will be long. The longer answer would be yes. Consistently over the last, I think, decade and change since 2015, the polls have um, undershot the right wing in almost every election. And so I still the issue is that I still don't think that Netanyahu is going to have the orange/red government here is going to have enough seats, even when you take that into account. Oh, so Shauna's asking a good question. Okay, this is okay. So Shauna had a lot of good things to say. I'm now seeing. Okay, there's vaccine talk. I'm not going to get into that. Yeah, so Sean is asking, is this channel 12 in Israel? Yes. So I think this is underselling the right. It's just that it puts the right at like 50, and I think it's going to be closer to even between the two blocks. So you have like 55, and then the Arab party is a 10. And then if you have the Unity Party, they take from both sides, and it's essentially over at that point. There's no way anyone gets over the line without the Unity Party. And if the Unity Party forces a unity government, then it's either that or another election. And I don't see another election getting us a different result. Okay, oof, there's a lot of. It's hard to. Okay, I'm gonna have to skip a bit ahead. Again, I'm sorry if you want me to see your comments. Then a super chat is the best way to do it. It's just there's like dozens, and they keep multiplying as I try to go through them. Yeah. So this poll is. I agree. So the polls representing are biased. Filber's polls are the only ones that have proven themselves in previous elections, and according to them, the Likud has 33 seats, and the right is winning. I think they're both wrong this time. So in the previous government, Filber, who is the right wing pollster, was right. Was the most accurate pollster. I think it's not going to happen this time because I see him talking about his methodology. He's not accounting for the fact that last time you had almost 4 seats on the left that went to the trash because of the labor not uniting with Meretz. I'm not going to get into it, but the results were due to that. It wasn't indicative of the actual. Like, if that hadn't happened, then you would have had another blocked coalition, or like another round where you don't have a majority to any to either side. Okay, so Filber again. Okay, so Este's talking about 90. The U.S. didn't help Israel in the war. That was the. So like in '66, we weren't as clearly on the U.S.'s side as we are now. The tide started to turn already, but as far as outright support, this agreement is the U.S. will not sell high-tech aircraft to Muslim countries. Which, okay, but this was a year before the war. This would have not affected the war. The U.S. wasn't part of the war at that point. Which that's what I'm saying. Okay, so I'd like to. There's a lot of alarmism. We are going to eat so much shit if the left will win. The left is not going to win. At most the anti-Netanyahu bloc is going to win, and even that I don't see happening. Again, my prediction, it's been the same for a while. So far, things are going my way. The only thing that would change it is if they don't unite, these guys. But this is not a left-wing government. This is a center government with some right-wing elements and left-wing elements. And the willingness to attribute to both Bennett and Lieberman, which make up roughly half of the coalition, along with several people from Eisenkot's party who are also right-wingers. So you have like at, if I'm generous, half and half. It's not a left-wing government, and they're not going to create a Palestinian state. That's not going to happen. That's election talk to get people to the polls, because you need to be scared to get to the polls. So yeah, so Rotem is saying Rotem is very much on the coalition side, and like, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Rotem, but you're like pro Ben-Gvir, which I am very much not. Lieberman and Bennett may have right-wing positions in theory, but in practice, they just want the power and privileges of high positions and will support policies that are completely opposite of that. I don't agree. I agree that they want power, but they want power eventually for the sake of enacting their opinions. Yes, and Bobo. Okay, so Bobo and Rotem see eye to eye usually. All right. Okay. I'm gonna skip some of the comments. So Gadi Eisenkot is extreme left. He will create a Palestinian state. If he wins, he won't. But he is more left leaning than Meretz. I think this is a big claim to make. I'm gonna have to get some receipts on that. I agree. He's center left. Like, he's left leaning from center. But saying he's more left leaning than Meretz, that's a huge claim to make. And if you want me to take you seriously, I'm gonna need some receipts, buddy. Okay, so what I'm saying, I'm not against Ben-Gvir, but I vote Bibi. So I wanted to clarify so that I don't say something like, I don't misspeak or claim wrong things about someone. That's 11 too short for Netanyahu, yes, but this is also probably underserving the right. So the right probably has more than this. I predict that without the Unity Party, it's around 55-55, with the Arab parties taking the remaining 10. That's my prediction. And the Unity Party, I'm not sure who it gets it from more, but it's going to it's not going to matter as much, because at that point, then the government is going to be like the top 5 parties plus that Unity Party. Okay, someone asking, what about Moshe Feiglin? So Moshe Feiglin is, for those who don't know, he had a debate with Destiny on YouTube. I highly recommend watching it. He's very eloquent. He's very right wing. And I would say that if I could get my way, I would erase Ben-Gvir from politics and put Feiglin where he is. He's a much better proponent for the far right policies that Ben-Gvir is also for. And I heard rumors he might join Smotrich. He's not going to pass the polls alone. He's going to get like 2 seats and burn votes that way. Yeah, Feiglin is throwing a vote to the void. I mean, I would be happy if he joined Smotrich because it could give Smotrich the momentum to overtake Ben-Gvir. I think Smotrich is a much better. So someone asked here, thoughts on Smotrich. I think Smotrich is a much better representative of the far right in Israel than Ben-Gvir. He's eloquent. He knows his stuff. He gets things done, and he has a very strong position about Judea and Samaria and wars and so on. He's very hawkish. So someone said Feiglin is insane, and then Gingersaurus is asking what's insane about him. I don't think he's insane. He is eccentric. He went on a TV show one election cycle and was probably a bit too wacky for what's good. He was trying to get viral at the time, but he's a libertarian. He's staunchly libertarian, and he has very strong religious views about what Israel should be. But those views are also affected by his libertarianism. So, like, he's religious, he's for building the third temple and stuff like that. But at the same time, he wants a small state, and he doesn't want to impose his views on, for example, in the education system. And he has very right-wing views. Okay, yes. Okay. Again, Gargamel, thank you. We definitely see eye to eye. So other than the rhyme, Jew from another view is just not accurate. Ben-Gvir is a little mumdanish. He loves the cameras, and bottom line, he's not doing much. Yes, I completely agree with this. Would Gadi get along with Trump? I don't know. It's hard to say. Gadi Eisenkot is very reserved. He has a very conservative temper. But Gadi Eisenkot, so this is something worth mentioning for, like, what does this mean for Iran? Gadi Eisenkot has now come on record and said that the idea of trying to change the regime in this war was a mistake, and the reason Netanyahu lost favor with Trump is that he promised this. So this is something to keep in mind. Like, a lot of people here would probably not want Eisenkot. Now, he's not against regime change. He's not even going to not do regime change in the sense of using Mossad, but he's not going to use kinetic action in the same daring way that Netanyahu did. I think that's based on his own words. That is clear. He will be way more like, he'll have an easier time getting along with world leaders, and I don't think he'll be able to give many concessions. But regardless, it might be a good idea for Israel's foreign policy, which, if he's the prime minister, and you have to blame Netanyahu for where we are right now, where we need to up our foreign policy game. The fact that Netanyahu did not stop the crazies in his party and in his coalition, or like the people who are trying to make bank by saying, "Look at how right wing I am," did a lot of damage to Israel. And I squarely put that at the feet of Netanyahu, because he should have said, "Listen, you need to shut the f up. This is serious. You can't talk like this, especially since you're not actually in charge of what's happening in the war, and you're presenting a false image of what's actually going on." So Rover is asking, what's the worst case scenario? Which candidate would harm Israel? I'm optimistic about this election. So to me, the worst case scenario is 4 more years of the ultra orthodox squeezing the government by the balls. So right now, I'm for a unity government. My second favorite position is the worst case scenario is if you actually have Mansour Abbas in charge of a left-wing government. I just don't think that's a realistic scenario, despite what many people are Um, what many people are fearing or afraid of. That would be the worst scenario. I just don't see it as realistic. I do see realistic the scenario of this government, 4 more years of this government. And I think that's not ideal. That's like my third favorite option out of four. My favorite option is a unity government where you have a Likud that is going to get a facelift. With these parties. Second favorite option is maybe like the blue parties, although I said the unity government will be these five parties. That's not true. This party is not going to be part of it, and that's really important because I am afraid of this party. I'm afraid of the Democrats because they genuinely think, and I have some family members like this, they genuinely think that democracy was at risk, and they want to close down media channels and want to fire some people from positions. Like they want to clean house and reimagine the state in their image, in their 10-seat image, their highly minority opinioned image. And so I'm afraid of them getting too much power. That is something I'm afraid of. Yeah, so here's the okay. Vote for Ben-Gvir. He's the worst. He'll get shit done and give us what you want. War genocide. So this is an anti-Israel. So here's the thing. This is what Ben-Gvir's power is, right? Like 8 seats out of 120. And what anti-Israel people think is that this represents Israel. Not only that, that a demonized version of this represents Israel. Ben-Gvir himself, for the sake of getting votes, has mellowed out his rhetoric considerably. He's going to be underwater if he says the things that I think that he thinks. Meaning, my opinion is that Ben-Gvir is trying to hide what he actually thinks because he knows most of the people in Israel would not accept his positions, and as a result, he's getting more popular. But if you look at anti-Israel people, they think that this is Israel because of skewed media, because of derangement. So in yesterday's stream, we talked about derangement, literally believing things that aren't true, and believing in them strongly. And because of manipulation by Qatar, the regime in Iran, and China. So this is such a minority opinion in Israel. The far left is stronger than Ben-Gvir. Okay, so Shai is anti-Netanyahu saying most of the supporters of Bibi and his government are aliens, English-speaking people, ultra-religious that do not even go to work, all kind of marginalized people. I maybe aliens is a mistranslation. I don't know what you mean by that. Like I assume you mean foreigners. Like Jews not living in Israel. But this is patently false. Like you look at the election results and you look at the demographics of Israel, this cannot be true. I just think you're in a media bubble and you have BDS, Bibi derangement syndrome. I have a lot of criticism for Netanyahu. Just that it's not the same as what my only channel 12 watching, only channel 13 watching family members say. Okay, so what do you think about Einat Wilf's views? I think she's very likely to find herself in the Unity Party. I agree with a lot of what she's saying. She's not going to get over the threshold alone. And at the end of the day, she's not going to find her position in any of these parties. She's going to have to be here. And I hope, again, she's another one that's going to join into this coalition of people who just are so sick of pro Bibi, anti Bibi as what the elections are about. Yeah. So Shauna's saying, I'm American. I think Israel needs a new face. In theory, yes. It's just that that face also has to be competent, and the jury's still out on Eisenkot. He's careful. He thinks about things through, but he's just not very bright. Like Netanyahu is a very intelligent person. Eisenkot is like, okay. From what I can gather, it's very hard to know because he's a new entity in politics. There is, regardless, there is a lot of benefit from an Eisenkot-led government because of his conservative nature and temperament. He's not going to make sweeping changes, but it'll put a new face on Israel. Hey, Jose. Yeah, thanks for dehumanizing BBs. Yeah, so this is, I assume, aimed at Chai. What was the question? I mean, you're clearly a troll, very deranged or against Israel. There wasn't a question. You said you should vote for Ben-Gvir. That was a recommendation. If you have an actual question, I'll gladly. Oh, so do you think there should be a two-state solution? Okay, that's the question. All right. Here's what I think. I think that if the people on the other side did not literally want to murder us and throw us into the sea, there would have been a two-state solution ages ago. Because even the far-right religious people, if you had people on the other side that don't just want to kill us, as they have done well before Israel was founded, like the Hebron massacre in the 30s, then you could have had an arrangement where you have like special privileges to the people from the other nationality where they can go visit their holy sites and so on and things they care about in the other side's border. And that would have been sufficient. A lot of people would have been okay with this. But because that's not the case, and because we have tried relentlessly to have a two-state solution, for a two-state solution to work, you're going to have to not have the corrupt leadership that they have now, and you're going to have to fundamentally change their education system so that you can have peace with the next generation. Because right now, their books, the UNRWA books, UNRWA, the UN entity that's specifically only for Palestinian refugees, you have one general entity for all refugees, and then you have another one specifically for Palestinians, because this and their refugee status is the only one in the world that's intergenerational. So they're growing as a refugee community because the just their their population expansion rate. So it's a wedge against Israel. The UNRWA is meant to delegitimize and destroy Israel eventually, because otherwise there would not have been any Palestinian refugees left right now if they just used the regular refugee entity that the UN already has, and if Arab countries didn't use Palestinians as a wedge as they're doing right now. But for example, by not allowing Gazans to leave Gaza, even though 50 to 80% of them want to, they're not allowing them to leave because their existence is a tool against Israel. They're willing to sacrifice, at the very least, the quality of life, and otherwise the. So, what's your answer? Yes or no? I'm going to get I'm for a two-state solution in a universe where the Palestinians are not trying to murder us, where the majority of them don't think that the two-state solution is a step is a middle step towards the elimination of all Jews from Israel, which is what their polling is saying. I can actually bring up the poll if you don't believe me. I'll need a moment to find it, but I can do it pretty easily. So if Palestinian national identity wasn't a tool to attack Jews and delegitimize Jews, and was actually a proper constructive project like Fouad al-Khatib, the Palestinian peace activist, actually wants to do. If Fouad al-Khatib was representative of the Palestinian society, we would have had a two-state solution right now, and I would have been all for that two-state solution. I'm not for a two-state solution with the Palestinian Authority as it's currently instantiated. Okay, you're not actually engaging with what I'm saying. There are solutions that give Palestinians autonomy that I'm for. I'm for the municipality solution or the emirate solution for Palestinians. That means just that I don't trust the Palestinian Authority as it is right now. I didn't say you don't understand me. I'm saying you're not engaging with what I'm saying. You're just saying you're responding as if I'm saying something else, not because you don't understand me, because I'm saying something, I'm giving you a complete picture, and you're collapsing it into a much stupider view. So Rover is asking, as an American, can I donate to Smotrich campaign? I actually don't know. I don't know what the status of foreign donations to elections is right now. It was a big issue for a while. I think it's still allowed. See, there you go with the extras. Yes, because I can't answer your question as put because it's a dumb question. Are you for a two-state solution? Well, yes, but I have to contextualize it. I'm not for a two-state solution with what the Palestinian Authority is right now. I'm for a theoretical two-state solution if I feel like the entity on the other side isn't just there to try to murder me and bide its time until it can do it. Okay, because you would demolish their homes and put their dads and children in prison. Did we do that in the 30s before Israel was formed, when they committed massacres against Jews in the land? This is a fundamental misunderstanding of what the situation is and what's causing it. We demolish their homes after they kill innocent Israeli civilians. We put their dads and children in prison because they commit terror attacks or are about to commit terror attacks, and we stop them before they do so. Because there's a lot of incitement in Palestinian mosques and in Palestinian schools. For example, they have, like, in math, Ahmad killed 3 occupiers and Muhammad killed 2 occupiers. How many occupiers did they kill together? Like, from a very young age, the murder of Israelis is normalized in Palestinian society. And you can't talk about the conflict without addressing that. Okay, so are you for a two-state solution? Put the other side's border. What do you mean? Both sides are theirs. Are you for a two-state solution then? Okay, I'm gonna stop engaging with this person. I mean, I knew they were bad faith. I wanted to give a clear answer for what my position is, and I think this will be a good video. So Marshall is asking a very good question. So you think you can educate the people of Gaza to agree with what you did to them? No. I can teach them to contextualize it when it's not lied about constantly in the media. For example, 20,000 children killed. This is a number that's brought up. What they don't say is that a child is anyone under 18. Let's see if I can find. Okay, this is worth 1 second. A child is anyone under 18, and a vast majority of those children are males over the age of 15. And what do you know? Hamas also uses males over the age of from like 14 and up as combatants. Like, they have combatants in those ages, and so we can't ask an idea from someone trying to shoot us. And so we kill combatants, and some of them happen to be under 18, and so they count towards children. I'm going to use like this is from Hamas numbers. Hold on. Okay, there's a more up-to-date one. This is from 2025. And to find the more up-to-date one, but it's essentially oh, and now okay, the post isn't opening. Damn it! 1 second. So I think it can educate the people of Gaza to understand that this is a war, and when the people we're fighting against are using illegal tactics of hiding behind civilians and using civilian infrastructure as fighting areas, and also killing people trying to escape war areas when we drop leaflets telling them to escape because we're about to attack military infrastructure, then I think they can reasonably understand that there's no other way. And a lot of them, by the way, there are videos where a lot of them are blaming Hamas. Okay, actually, you know what? I'll show that video. That's a good video to show. Hold on. Um, let's see if it's this one. Okay. All of these are good. Okay, I'll show a bunch of these. This is not what I meant to talk about today, but now that it came up, I'm sorry this is taking a while, but it's going to be worth it. All right. First of all, what do Hamas officials say? Can you let me? Do you have audio? I mean, so far there's no audio. So this is Fatah Hamad. He's like the internal minister of the Hamas government at the time. Okay. Any questions? This is the Hamas strategy. This is Fathi Hamad explaining in detail exactly what okay, this is by the way. Can you hear this? Please let me know if the audio is making it through. Um, so this is a woman. She had she has 4 children. They all died. She's proud of them. We're willing to sacrifice more. So they're sacrificing their own population to delegitimize Israel. No audio and video. Okay. So 1 second. I'll quickly take care of that. The family of Kfir Bibas damns Netanyahu. You fucking moron. He was choked out with the bare hands of the people who kidnapped him. You disgusting pig. This has nothing to do with Netanyahu. Okay, so I'll quickly play this so that the Arabic speakers above you can see that this is actually what he's saying. This is an old video. This is way before AI, 18 years ago. So a lot of the trolls here, I know, speak Arabic. And I know that you know that he did say what the subtitles claim that he said. This is the Hamas strategy. And here's the woman again. Yeah, by the way, this is the middle of the war when they're allegedly starving. This is meant to be a starving person. So again, a lot of you, and don't try to pretend that this is mistranslated. I speak Arabic. I know exactly what she's saying. Um, let's see if I have. Okay, okay. There's a long interview, but there's a Kurdish doctor. I'll put it in the description. We're not going to watch all of it because it's 16 minutes. But there's a Kurdish doctor who was in Gaza who confirms he saw with his own eyes Hamas using hospitals for military purposes. Wait, were you not able? Oh, you still can't hear it? What the fuck? Sorry. One last time. Okay. So I'm gonna play one last time. Now there should be audio. Yeah, so much hate in her heart. Again, they have an industry of teaching people to hate Jews, and that is the cause. That is the root cause of this conflict. There could have been a two-state solution ages ago if that wasn't the other side. Okay, I'll play one last time so now you can hear it.
ولا يعلمون أن الشعب الفلسطيني قد طور من موته ومن بحثه على الموت
تطور الموته والبحث على الموت. So this is an exact translation of what he's saying.
ذلك أصبح الموت عند الشعب الفلسطيني صناعة تجيده النساء تجيده كل من في هذه الأرض يجيده الشيوخ يجيده المجاهدون ويجيده الأطفال لذلك شكلوا دروعا بشرية من النساء والأطفال والشيوخ والمجاهدين ليتحدوا بذلك آلة القصف الصهيونية وكأنهم يقولون للعدو الصهيوني إننا نحرص على الموت كما تحرصون على الحياة.
18 years ago already. This is not new. So Egypt and Syria plan to lull Israel to sleep and then attack. I'm shocked you missed it. I talked about it yesterday. It wasn't. I mean, unless it was now stated that there was Egypt and Syria. I definitely knew it was Syria. Like that was obviously going to be one of the countries. Okay, so Sapir is asking, can I get summarized what happened? I was just talking to some trolls and proving to them that Gazans are fundamentally trained to hate Jews and hate their own life and put their own life on the line to make Jews look bad. That's basically what happened. Yeah, they can say it publicly in Arabic because the audience isn't that bothered. See, Syria, Yemen, Sudan, we're teaching the 1 million plus dead Arabs. Who's teaching the 1 million plus dead Arabs to understand there? Yep. Again, the 70,000 in the Gaza war is such a drop in the bucket compared to what's happening daily all across the Middle East in Arab society. Yeah, I just watched Bill Clinton on the topic. He was very involved with trying to get peace. Do Palestinians have anything good, do anything good, anything? I mean, depending on who, some Palestinians, yes, but unfortunately, as a society, they're stuck in a victim mentality that's pervasive all over the Middle East, by the way. It's not just them. And so some of them, so they had some good people within the Palestinian society trying to improve things, like Salam Fayyad, but because he wasn't as corrupt as the rest of the Palestinian Authority, they had to get rid of him. So it's not about individuals. It's about right now the Palestinian Authority has a structure that incentivizes bad faith action and sacrificing the population for one's own gain. Okay, so Memory TV is not a commercial enterprise. It was founded by Igal Karmon, a former Israeli military intelligence officer, and yes, they collect clips and they translate them. Do you speak Arabic? Do you speak Arabic? Like, you're saying, oh, well, this source was created by an Israeli. Okay, and this source reveals things about the Middle East because Israelis have an incentive to reveal those things. And is the translation wrong? Again, I speak Arabic, so don't try to fuck me. Is the translation wrong? No, it's not wrong. And so this is what Fatih Hamad is saying to a cheering crowd about his old people 18 years ago when Hamas only just took power over Gaza. They have since had a full generation of people brainwashed under their own education system for this ideology. The translation is correct. It's very accurate. This is he's speaking like Wusta. So like it's very easy to understand to any Arabic speaking person. It's actually not even Wusta, it's full on Fusha. So if anyone who's slightly literate in Arabic should be able to understand this, that this is a direct translation of what he was saying. Okay. So I wanted a chance. I know people are annoyed that I'm engaging them. I'm gonna stop now. Yeah. I wanted a chance to on stream I wanted to have a chance to present these videos. I have many other sources. At some of these streams, like on slow news days. Oh, by the way, this is something I mentioned before. I have this this resource that I made with many hundreds of indisputable sources showing how the genocide is a lie. What Palestinian society largely is, especially Gazan society under Hamas, what Hamas wants, what Hamas does, what the data actually shows. And I'm working with some people from Liberty Politics and turning this into a user-friendly website, and that can also get contributions. So Flavzan, can I use the source? This will become a website. Once it's a website, I'll reveal it. Like I'll send the website out. I don't want people to have access to the actual like source document, even though it's backed up 3 times, so that's not an issue. But nevertheless, once it's a website and it's in the works, like people are working on this, and as we speak, I'm going to make it into a website. Once it's a website, I'll post a link. It's always going to be in the description as well. It's going to be a Liberty Politics General like branded thing. And that's, you know, this is something I worked on with some friends. One of whom might be on stream soon. He was supposed to come today, but he ended up not being able to make it. But yeah, so if you think that's useful, I'll use this again. I have like 900 sources there at the moment. Not all of them are already on the table, but some of them are like just waiting for me to upload it once I have the time. I'll probably use AI to do it at this point. But if you're interested, follow my channel. Join the group discussions. I have a group discussion every Tuesday. You can ask me questions live. If you can go past 6, I can join then. So Sapir, my sometimes co-host, I can't, like, I don't want to run over Armin and Monkey's stream. By the way, this is Monkey. Does great content on the Americas. Also, this is his channel. And he's gonna stream live with Armin at the top of the hour. So I'll finish a few minutes before. Yeah, follow and click the like button. Thank you. So this is Monkey's channel. Go subscribe to him as well. We're both trying to get to 1,000, but if you subscribe to him, then subscribe to me twice so that I can, because we're in competition. I'm trying to get there before him. Oh, can you read the other 2 comments I made? Let's see. I found one. Oh, and people. Okay, so talking about like, are there good Palestinians? Okay, I'll get to super chat soon, and then I still owe you people something. Okay. I know some good Palestinians. They describe how hell it is for them because of their own society. Yes, that's usually what happens. They understand their own issues. By the way, again, this happened last time as well. If you hear yells in the background, that's my adorable daughter calling to me. I'll go to her in like 20 minutes. Yeah, so Roman Vikings is making a good. So if you subscribe twice, you actually unsubscribe. So don't press the subscribe button twice. subscribe once, then create another channel and subscribe again. No, so the button changes. Once you subscribe, the button changes. It's no longer just like you have to press it. Okay, I'll show you. I'm now subscribed to Monkey, as you all should be. Clicking this again is not going to unsubscribe me. I have to explicitly unsubscribe. So it's not just pressing it twice is going to do something. Yeah, it changes to join and bell. Like it's not that easy to unsubscribe. You have to explicitly want to do it. Okay, so Sapir was saying because of their own society, and one of them has been running for months now because her parents shattered her hand after she said she doesn't like Hamas. Palestinian society is a sick society. Unfortunately, it's not like genetics. It's a corrupt brainwashing that they have been going through for several decades at this point to consistently be victims and not improve their own situation. And they'd rather destroy Israel than build Palestine. That's the problem. If that was not the case, there would already be peace. And unfortunately, the voices within Palestinian society, because it's not a monolith. There are a lot of, and by the way, they're the most educated Arab population in the region. Most doctors and most engineers and so on. This is not unique to them, and this is not all of them by any means. But this is the prevailing opinion right now because of the Palestinian Authority. So when Shauna is saying, I would like to see the Emirates plan become popular, I think it's the only possible long-term solution. These people don't want a state, and I believe their national identity is actually fame. I don't know if it's fame. Oh, maybe we meant to say fake. Yeah, M and K are close. Yeah, their national identity is a response to Israeli national identity. And secretly, like a lot of the municipalities want to break apart from the Palestinian Authority. So if you look up in the Wall Street Journal, last year, this is also good to have as a staple. Last year, and also the Palestinian Authority is also admitted during the war. I forgot to mention this one. Hamas is preventing Gaza residents from reaching aid distribution centers. So this is Hamas. This is the Palestinian Authority admitting that Hamas is preventing Palestinians from getting to aid that has been allowed in by Israel. And so, anyway, what I was going to get to is a new Palestinian offer for peace with Israel. Hebron's sheikhs proposed to leave the Palestinian Authority and join the Abraham Accords. This was a year ago. The Palestinian Authority is corrupt, and these people, they're in charge of their clan, and they actually want good things for their clan. And so this is long-term. This is the best solution I know of that is beneficial to Palestinians as Palestinians because they get their governance comes from close to them. They have autonomy. Oh yeah. So Sabrina's asking, did I see the new UN famine report that shows that Gaza has the same level of famine as Germany? Yes. Because Sabrina's saying her story, the woman she talked about, is very interesting, but I don't want to give more information that might put her in danger. I'll just say she was radical majority of her life until she met an American on the internet. Okay. Thank you. Hamas and IRGC kind of share the same playbook. Hamas leaders have trained under IRGC. That's why. It's not coincidence, and it's not just because they're Muslim. Palestinians deserve zero authority. See, I disagree with that. I think that the good faith people in their society should be able to govern the parts of their society autonomously in a way that that they're in charge of, in a way that doesn't preclude Israel's security. I'm very very much for the Emirate solution. It nationalizes a reasonable number, like a few tens of thousands of Palestinians, gives a lot of them authority with a leadership that is more family tied because they're a clan. So it's not going to be as corrupt as the outside imposed Palestinian Authority. So Aaron is asking, is it true that Hamas purposely builds tunnels under schools and hospitals and other civilian buildings, essentially using their people as human shields to further their victim narrative? This is very true. I can find another source here. Hold on. I also have like Palestinians that have managed to escape saying what they really think about Hamas. Oh, okay. This is what I wanted. Right. Here's what the ordinary Gazan thinks about Hamas when they're allowed to speak. 1 second. There's a journalist who wrote well before the war, said that, like, someone who's anti-Israel said that Hamas built tunnels under all civilian infrastructure, so that there's no way Israel will be able to destroy the tunnels because that would collapse the whole neighborhood. Yes, but if you allow them building it under neighborhoods to prevent you from destroying them, then that means that this tactic works, and they'll keep doing it. And you won't be able to deal with it. Eventually, you'll have to do it. So might as well do it now. Eventually, you have to do it because it's either that or you die. And so you have to just do it now before they keep doing it more and more. I'll try to find. No. Yeah, okay. I can't find it at the moment, but there's something else I want to show you guys. This is a supercut of Gazans speaking under anonymity. And once again, if you speak Arabic, you know that this is an accurate translation.
شوف حماس برزوك حماس يا رب يقتلوهم اليهود يا اليهود احسن منهم اليهود بعطونا اكل بعطونا الدنيا وبيعملوا لنا الدنيا وبعطونا الطريق بامنه وايش يفضح ارضهم اليهود الحماس اخذ ابني حماس اخذ ابني حماس وين وداه ليش اخذ ابني من حماس ايش عمل له ايش عمل للقطاع دمرتنا احنا شعب غلبان حماس اكلتنا اكلت كابوناتنا اكلتنا حماس So
Kabonat, this is something you have to be familiar with, specifically like vocabulary related to the war, is like coupons. Kabonat like is the coupons that they go and they take and they get their daily allowance of food from the aid centers.
هذه تنظيم ارهاب داعش اصعب من داعش كسوا اختهم كسوا اخت عظم سنوار اخو شرموطه طلعوا هذا حماس طختنا حماس حماس اخوات شرموطه هذول اخوك في الرجل عشان كابونات بيسرقونا للشرموطه كابونات في شكل عندنا كل بيسرقوه كلهم بتخبوا اخوات الشرموطه بقطر اخو الشرموطه بتكلم بياكلوا واحنا اخوات
حسبي الله عليها حماس ينتقم منها حماس دمروا اطفالنا دمروا بيوتنا احنا كنا عايشين احنا نهداه انتوا حكمونا بدناش حماس كل الشعب بكره حماس احنا مضطهدين من حماس كنا الله ينتقم منك يا سنوار الله يشحمك يا رب والله فرحت لما قتلتوا الصنوار اللي دمر وقتل اطفالنا.
جد؟
والله العظيم زغرتت. انا عارف راح اطلع من هنا حماس التخنه. حماس راح التخنه. انا هلقيت شهيده.
عشان اللي حكيتي؟
عشان حكيت.
Shahida is a martyr.
مش خايفة؟
لا مش خايفه، خلاص راح اللي إلي راح، ما ضل اللي يجي جارين عليه.
אני רוצה להגיד דבר שישמע אולי רדיקלי.
Sorry. All right. This is what Palestinians, when they're not when they're in an area that is under IDF control, in Gaza, that's what they're saying. A lot of them, at least. Some of them are, pro Hamas, but this is what, like, regular people, that's what they feel about the war. They know that Hamas is using them. Hamas is stealing their aid so that they starve, so that then they can say, look at how the Israelis are starving Hamas. Yeah, and Sapir saying my brother, who I assume is a soldier, has found way too many missiles hidden under children's bedrooms. Yeah, so Hamas is using, it's either their own family members using the children's bedrooms to hide rockets, or in the worst scenarios, they use other people's houses by threat of gunpoint. And again, Fouad al-Khatib, I'll quickly find his Ahmed Fouad al-Khatib has been documenting this ever since the war has started. And he is a Palestinian. He's a Palestinian from Gaza. He's an actual peace activist. Okay, so for saying I missed a message. My mom's cousin, unfortunately, was one of the 6 soldiers that died by Hamas RPG inside of a Gazan hospital while they tried to evacuate the sick. I'll just let that sit. This is what we're dealing with. This is what Israel is dealing with Hamas. And the Palestinian Authority is not much better. It's just as willing, under different methods, to sacrifice the Palestinian people for its own goals. If the Palestinians are no longer poor, then the Palestinian Authority is no longer getting donations. That's the issue. Okay, so I'll go through the super chats. Again, I had other things to talk about today. But I'm glad we did this because, I'm going to make clips out of a lot of stuff in this stream. Post them on the channel. So you guys can also, increase the... I don't know if it's going to be on Liberty Politics, by the way. It's going to be on my channel. So once again, this is my channel. It might be on Liberty Politics. I'm not sure yet. I have to talk to Armin about that. But my channel is going to have the videos, so you can, like, if you want to share stuff, you can do it there. Okay, so going through the rest of the super chats. Eisenkot is an Ehud Barak prodigy. I've heard this said. Can you send me like a link of where you're getting that from? I have not seen a convincing source for this, but I'm open to hearing it. Ehud Barak is a friend of Epstein's. He's like, how every country has their like Epstein person. So Ehud Barak is the one in Israel. He's a left-wing prime minister. He tried to get Palestinian statehood. He failed, and as Bill Clinton says, he failed because of Arafat. And he's like a friend of Jeffrey Epstein's. Guy is out, but I hate Bibi. I try to present things from all perspectives. So like, I'll say if I disagree with you, I'll say, but for the Democrats, I'm saying they genuinely think that the country was about to be stolen, made non-democracy. I disagree with that, but under that framework, I can totally understand where they're coming from. It's just because I think they're wrong, they scare me. Okay, so Maybe U.S. okayed, but hard to believe Mossad had shallow understanding of Kurdish groups vis-a-vis Iran. Bad plan. Call me back. Dan Senor. Podcast IDF against plan. Again, we don't know. A lot of this was about, again, the Kurds. I don't think they want to break up Iran. They have too many Iranian agents, and I think it was just a fuck up. I mean, I think they genuinely did not see the backlash coming and the implication that this would break apart Iran. Okay, so Boboism is saying I'm pro Ben Gvir and pro Bibi. And Agent Anderson is saying consider Aliyah, Israeli politics as a barrier. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for the super chats, Bobo. Now back to Bobo. I'll try to do this briefly, but the stream did not go. Not break up Iran, just dumb plan. Yes, I agree. Rappaport. Yoram Hazoni, NatCon, supports Vance. So Yoram Hazoni is a leading conservative philosopher / thinker, national conservative. He's pro bringing back nationality as he's a proud nationalist, and he's a leader of what's called the New Right, and Vance is part of that framework. And as a result, I think Hazoni is biased towards Vance. He says that fundamentally there aren't huge differences between Vance and Rubio regarding Israel, and I think he's wrong. Not necessarily because Vance actively hates Israel, but because Vance is spineless enough to capitulate to the people online who hate Israel to win their votes and throw Israel under the bus in the process. But I think he has like a personal relationship with Vance that is clouding his judgment. Okay. All right. So, okay, there's one more topic I want to talk about. So just a quick question. Who's winning in Israeli politics? We don't know yet. I think it's going to be unity government. So no one's going to win except the people. Because I'm for this. I'm for unity government right now. I think you need Netanyahu's perspective to have a lot of weight in the next government, but I don't think it needs to be this government. I'm just afraid of the blind spots that the other side might have. Yeah, so I'm a fan of BDS as Bibi derangement syndrome, as like a phrase, because of the double meaning, and it's not necessarily. I have a lot of criticism towards Netanyahu. It's just that I see a lot of criticism that is just divorced from reality. For example, saying it's between Bibi and Eisenkot but I don't think they're going to win him. I think they're going to have like a rotation thing. Like either one. Like if you say that Netanyahu wanted Rabin to be assassinated, when he explicitly and against a roaring crowd said in protests against Oslo, when people were shouting traitor, he said he's not a traitor. He's not a traitor. He's a political rival, and he's wrong, and he's gonna get out of the way after the election, because we'll win. But he's not a traitor. And so, like, a lot of people have a tribute to Netanyahu. Like he wants to stay in power because he can get rich this way. Netanyahu can't get rich by being in power more than, like, if you see Ehud Barak's net worth and Netanyahu's net worth. Leaving politics is the best thing that can happen to Netanyahu. He's going to make so much money being an advisor and stuff like that. I think he genuinely wants to help Israel. I disagree with some of the things he thinks, but I think he's genuine in his want to help Israel. Okay, we have a lot of trolls today. Yeah, so Soapbox is asking, do you see the UN report disproving widespread malnutrition in Gaza yet? Yes, I did. UNICEF I mentioned this briefly. UNICEF put out a report saying that the level of hunger in Gaza is 1.3%, which is the same as like Germany, and it's the lowest in the region. Okay, no, Ronnie, don't engage. There are a lot of trolls today. Someone's saying Google stuff that is going to lead you to highly biased and misleading I assume articles or websites like saying, "Oh, the Jews are bad and did everything wrong, and Christians should hate them," and so on. It's not worth engaging with these people, really. You can find anything online that doesn't make it true, and you can find like so like with the videos in Gaza. That like you see a child with like skin and bones, and the caption says yes, and this is a child in Gaza, except it's not a child in Gaza, it's a child in Yemen, and probably someone who has a condition that makes him look this way. But by the time the if it's in social media, by the time it gets community noted, they delete it, and so the message spread, but it can be corrected. Which is why I think community noted posts on X should have to stay up. You can remove your name from it, but the post has to stay up so that people can see the correction. Yeah. So Soapbox, thank you for bringing it up. I only mentioned it today. I haven't mentioned it yesterday, and I also wasn't here last week. Okay, so anyways, everyone, please go to either Monkey or Liberty Politics. They have a stream coming up. I know I'll send you to Monkey's stream because Liberty Politics has more subscribers. Not enough subscribers, but more subscribers. So Monkey's going to start in like 2 minutes. A stream with Armin talking about the latest developments about Iran and so on. Put it in the chat. Go watch that. It's going to start in 2 minutes. You're going to talk about all the latest updates. There's a lot of them. It's going to be very interesting. All right, everyone. Once again, I did not get through all the topics I wanted to get through. I'll probably do another stream on Friday. Please subscribe to my channel. We're trying to get me to 1,000 subscribers so I can start getting super chats on my channel as well, not just on Liberty Politics. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Again, hopefully Friday. And let me know, by the way, in the comments to the video after the live stream is over, if you want me to do like a part of the stream where I debunk something. I can do that as like a continuous thing. I'll be able to get through less each day, but or each stream, but it might be worth it. Like to go through a source debunking things about either the war in Gaza or about what Palestinians think, like or like stuff like that. So let me know. Oh, and Sapir would also be able to join on Friday. Great. Yeah. So let me know if that's interesting to you. Again, in the comments after. So I won't be able to see the live comments after I'm done, but in the comments to the video, specifically to the video on my channel, I don't have access. Like I don't get notifications for the comments on the Liberty Politics side. So comment on my channel. Once again, this is my channel. The version of the video on my channel, whether you want me to do that. People are already saying that would be great, but so Go to my channel, comment on the video. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Because again, I have hundreds of sources. I have endless content to go through. All right. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.